On May 16th, 2025, multiple rotating storms known as supercells descended across Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana as a tornado outbreak began to take shape. My chase partners Graham and Jake, as well as I, would soon find ourselves in the midst of this event, where I would finally see my first tornado.
Tornado
On the ground, there it is.
After our previous chase in northern Indiana gave us nothing to show, we drove south to western Kentucky the next day to chase the upcoming severe weather event. As we drove to our target area, a strong, mid-level jet up in the atmosphere slowly meandered from the west, bringing high wind shear and lift, which would help our storms initiate and rotate. This mid-level flow would also bring in a layer of hot, dry air known as the elevated mixing layer, or EML, which would cap the atmosphere and make way for instability to build in. This instability would only grow as the sun came out in the morning and baked the ground. Strong, low-level winds from the south brought in high moisture and strong, low-level wind shear, ingredients crucial for tornado development. All the ingredients were now in place for a dangerous tornado outbreak, which was reflected by the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook, where a moderate risk had been placed in parts of the lower Ohio Valley, including in our target area. At around noon, storms would fire in Missouri along a cold front and start producing tornadoes, marking the start of the outbreak. Soon after, the SPC would highlight the increasing tornado potential in their discussion, and a tornado watch would be issued for parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky around 3 p.m. Central Time.
Graham, we catching a tornado today?
Yes.
What about you, Jack? What do you think?
I'm really hoping so.
Yeah, I think we are.
After a mile-wide tornado tore through the St. Louis metro to start the day, a supercell in southern Missouri began to take shape, which we soon hopped on after it finished producing an EF3 tornado before entering western Kentucky. Not long after, the SPC would highlight the storm in another discussion, mentioning that this supercell in particular would have the potential for strong to intense tornadoes, placing their most probable peak intensity guidance around the EF3 to EF4 range. And soon, we'd be under our first tornado warning of the day.
There we go. Tornado warning. I didn't get it. My phone's lame.
As we enter town, the sirens begin to sound and the sky grew darker.
We got tornado sirens. We're under a tornado warning. South of Paducah.
After intercepting the storm near Paducah, we would blast east on I-24 to stay ahead, going through the outer edge of the core and encountering some small hail as the storm continued to intensify.
And we're gonna get caught in it. It is right behind us.
Yeah. I gotta hurry.
We're probably taking quarter-size hail right now.
As we drove east, the supercell began to intake smaller storms and merge them into itself. This increased convergence and vorticity along the supercell's forward flank, which was injected into the storm's inflow, which in turn widened and strengthened the mesocyclone, which is the dominant spinning updraft of the storm. The supercell then also passed over the Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area, where two narrow southwest to southeast oriented lakes were located. While winds at the surface in West Kentucky were more veered to the southwest, the lakes may have funneled more back to southeastern winds into the storm as it interacted with the very moist and unstable atmosphere. These interactions strengthened low-level rotation at the base of the storm, and now the storm had a pronounced hook echo on radar, a telltale sign that a tornado was now imminent. As all this was happening, we pulled over on a side road outside the community of Lamasco, Kentucky, where we watched the supercell develop a wall cloud as it began the process of tornado genesis. Being the navigator, I could have picked anywhere to stop on this nice, clear road. However, I picked the only spot where our view of the developing tornado could be blocked by grain silos.
Sucks we can't see it. I really want to see it.
Although this was better than putting us directly in the path of the developing tornado, had I chosen a spot more southwest down the road. As we watched the wall cloud intensify, Jake set up his drone, giving us an incredible view of the base of the storm and the rapidly rotating wall cloud as warm, moist air was rapidly ingested into the mouth of the storm. Not long after, we began to see the formation of a funnel cloud. This was it. After many years of self-teaching meteorology, 5 years of storm photography, and experiencing my first few chases in the 2 months prior, I watched with Jake and Graham as the funnel began to lower and condense to the ground, forming my first tornado. This tornado had a high-based, bowl-shaped funnel, and soon it began to go through a process known as vortex breakdown while it meandered through the nearby forest. As it underwent vortex breakdown, a horizontal vortex formed, and soon concentrated areas of vorticity would form subvortices underneath the funnel, tearing through trees while throwing debris around. Then it did something quite rare. The subvortex became helical and began to wave around. As the tornado progressed, it snapped and uprooted many trees, as well as destroying an outbuilding and causing minor damage to the roof of a home, earning it a rating of EF1. Thankfully, no one was injured. The EF1 tornado then began to weaken and lift as it approached our location. Jake took his drone down, and we then jumped back in the car and blasted east as 60-mile-an-hour winds from the rear flank downdraft of the storm wrapped around and impacted us. Unfortunately, my GoPro had been running for nearly 45 minutes at high resolution, which caused the footage of us celebrating after witnessing the tornado to corrupt.
Wait, what's this?
I don't know.
Alright, we'll get back on the interstate and go with it.
As we drove down I-24 to catch back up with the storm, I called up my best friend Nick Kraz, whom I had made a friendly bet at the beginning of the year of who could see a tornado first in 2025.
Buddy, what happened? I didn't get it on my drone. I got it on my camera, but Jack got all this stuff on his drone. It even fully touched down. There were like vortices coming up. It was so cool. Thanks, man. I hope you get one this year too, man.
Dude, you can see it going down and up.
Here, Cadiz.
Aw, thank you.
We were also then passed by Reed Timmer's Dominator 3, an armored vehicle designed to drive into tornadoes, as he too was chasing this tornado outbreak in Kentucky. However, all of our excitement would soon fade, and our attention would be diverted as 85 miles to our northwest, a violent tornado would tear through southern parts of Marion, Illinois, prompting the National Weather Service to issue a rare tornado emergency, with text listing the tornado as catastrophic, and reading that complete destruction would be possible. This tornado would unfortunately rip a 16-mile-long path through southern Illinois, including through a subdivision of homes, where many homes were severely damaged, with one being completely swept clean, earning this tornado a rating of EF4 with estimated wind speeds up to 190 miles an hour. While there were thankfully no fatalities associated with this tornado, 7 people were unfortunately injured. But that wasn't the only storm dropping strong tornadoes at the time. To the north, along the warm front in south-central Indiana, multiple supercells had formed, prompting tornado warnings as they continued to the east, with one storm notably dropping 2 EF2 tornadoes, which together unfortunately killed 1 person and injured 8 others. It then began to seem probable that these storms would continue into the Cincinnati metro, meaning now our home and families could be under the gun for similar tornadoes. Thankfully though, instability is quite low in southwest Ohio, weakening the storms and ending their tornadic potential. I let out a sigh of relief as I could now focus on navigating for the chase as we drove up I-65 towards the supercell now affecting Morganfield, Kentucky, where an EF3 tornado would unfortunately tear through town, injuring 4 people. Once we arrived in the town of Selma, I proceeded to pee for like 2 minutes straight while Graham pumped the car with much needed gas. As the storm descended on our location, we set up in a field in the path, where we were greeted by a behemoth of a storm. Unknown to us at the time, the Morganfield EF3, now in its rope-out stage, was still on the ground around 12 to 15 miles to our west. Before I could get my drone up in the air, Jake sent up his, capturing the final images of the Morganfield tornado as the storm began to cycle. As I put up the drone, we watched the updraft of the supercell slowly rotate as a long, beefy wall cloud churned beneath the base as the storm began to cycle. As the wall cloud got closer, radar showed the storm tightening its rotation, and it appeared a tornado would be imminent. However, the storm struggled with its balance of inflow and outflow, and failed to produce any more tornadoes. We followed the storm on some back roads, but once we realized the storm was done producing, we called the chase and started the trek back home. All in all, the tornado outbreak of May 16, 2025 would unfortunately leave 31 people dead and over 160 people injured across the states of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, with the deadliest tornado being the nighttime EF4 that would impact the communities of London and Somerset, Kentucky. The outbreak left hundreds of thousands without power, and damages are estimated to be in the billions, with an estimated $1.6 billion of damage alone coming from the mile-wide EF3 that had gone through downtown St. Louis earlier in the day. I learned some important lessons throughout my chase that day. I learned how to navigate for the first time, learned that backroads are bad areas to chase in, found out the difficulty of finding good viewing spots in high-pressure situations. I also learned about my cameras, like not to record for too long with my GoPro. And for my Nikon, I now double check to make sure it's recording, and have also focused on keeping the camera stable while recording. This chase taught me a lot about how to more efficiently use my gear, and gave me a better gauge of storm behavior in a high-end environment. To end the video off, I wanted to say thanks to Jake Blucker for his drone footage, and Graham Martin for bringing us out chasing. I also wanted to give my thanks to my best friend Nick Kraz, who congratulated me for winning our little challenge and even made me a little trophy. Thanks for watching, and I hope to be out again soon.